Okay, hello everyone. I'm just gonna put in the chat as per normal. Hey everyone. Hey everyone. Just need 5 minutes to do my pre-stream setup. Feel free to skip ahead roughly five minutes if watching from the replay. Okay, so I'm just gonna do that. I'm gonna set up my pre-stream stuff. 1 second. Okay, so I think I'm ready. Okay, so we've got to somehow figure out what we're gonna do for classes. This is kind of overwhelming because I've never actually done this before. And I've been trying to figure out what paths I'm supposed to take with these. But I think for now we'll just ignore that because it's a bit too much, and I think it requires serious thought. And I don't know if I have the mental capacity for it. Oh, we should loot Aurora. Oh snap! What does all this do? Okay. So for heretical, I think we've only got one heretical. This one. So when veil degradation above 15 plus 10 toughness, and each round the wearer regenerates wounds and gets plus 4 maximum wounds. So that's okay. It's not that great. Honestly, it's alright. The heal is kind of cool, but we've got a lot of healing on our team. Life training sword. What the heck's this? On a successful hit, the sword the target must pass a toughness test. On failure, the target suffers bleeding, and a bleeding effect and veil degradation is increased by +1. If you're heretical, the wielder restores wounds equal to 25% of the damage dealt. That's kind of epic. I like that. The Bridge of Terror. This is a vibe. Two-handed heavy. Yeah, I'm kind of into this because, oh man, that's sick. That's actually so cool. That's like a heavy machine gun, basically. Okay, cool. I don't know who would use that on.
Dawdle.
We could try putting it on Adira as an alternate to her because she's such precision. Oh my gosh, what is this? Rebels sniper rifle plus 18 to 25% damage, but the problem is with this sniper is it's got less range, and like it's a good sniper, but the long glass, even though it does less, it's got more range and it's got more hit chance and more dodge reduction, which in other words means more hit chance. So what's better, to hit and miss, or to to shoot and miss, or to shoot and hit? It's basically my argument. So we're going to collect. Oh, wait. Yeah, right. We need to just make sure we're okay. We know we're good. but there's a part of me that just wants to go and like triple check that we've gotten all our awareness checks, because you never know what loot stuff might be possible, might occur. I think we should run down here just to double check, just in case. Maybe analyze that. Looks like there's nothing, so okay, let's just carry on. You just gotta be sure, I think, because like, what happens if you miss out on the rarest weapon ever and then you don't get to use it for the like entire campaign? Yeah, I'd like to collect it. So here we go, back to the Void Ship Bridge. Who's to say what we're going to run into? Looks like there's a big load, so that's interesting. Oh, here we go. Everyone's... Oh, Lambank's walking up. Total boss mode. Okay, Master Victus. Thanks be to the Emperor, you are alive, your ladyship. We are most gratified by your return. The crew is full of zeal to carry out any orders you may have. Let's go with. Before anything else, I will hear an account of what happened to the system's sun. Lord Captain, we saw a number of ships approach the sun. Black creations of inhuman make, amalgams of sharp angles and edges. They surrounded the star and then... My apologies. I struggled to find the words that could describe that terrible sight. The Xenos made the sun vanish into the void. The interrogator closes his eyes and grimaces. Drakari. You see Abelard's expression changes as if a shadow has suddenly fallen over him. He rubs his temple wearily, as if we did not have enough troubles on our hands. So Lortis, the Xenos, enemies of humanity? Heinrich nods. A breed of the Eldari, the most cruel and devious of their kind. The design of their ships matches the description provided by Voxmaster. Like all Xenos, the Drakari are a blight on the face of the galaxy, but their technological superiority is indisputable. They all abhor and fear warp sorcery, which is why they rely on creations of their twisted intellect, and many of those creations are capable of things that may seem akin to sorcery to the unenlightened eye. The theft of the sun is one example of what they are capable of. Okay, so are the Xenos in league with Aurora's cultists? We can rule out that possibility. The Drakari would never ally themselves with the arch-enemy's worshippers. If I had to name one thing that humanity and the Xenos have in common, it would be a shared loathing for warp corruption. The situation calls for an immediate action, Landbank YouTube. We can continue this conversation later if you so wish, but right now he gestures to the deck teeming with tumultuous activity. I believe you should assume command. Okay. What is the current situation on board? The navigator's sanctum is no longer empty, but the warp engine is still refusing to obey the engineers. Without it, we cannot perform a warp jump. Pascal's voice buzzes anxiously from his vox. It may be angry, or perhaps it is lamenting the injuries it has suffered. I will immediately initiate preparations for a prayer service. If the Omnissiah grants me comprehension, I will appease the machine spirit of this vessel. Why did you not send a shuttle to the planet for me? I do apologize, your ladyship, but we were unable to receive your request for evacuation. The Vox link was overrun with vile interference, screams, blasphemous hymns, and other equally sinister noises. Any who listened to the interference for a protracted period lost their sanity. Several dozen operators went mad monitoring the Voxcaster in the hope of hearing your voice. Each one of them waited in vain. What is happening on the planet now? Our augur operations are reporting numerous uprisings and other manifestations of the archenemy's powers at various locations on the planet. Based on the fragments of communications picked up by our Vox operators, there is practically no resistance being offered by the governor's forces. Millions of people are converting to the blasphemous Final Dawn cult en masse and assembling in prayer circles. Do we have any hope of retaking the planet? I fear that the Rykad Minoris is lost. The situation is deteriorating by the minute. We must leave this system as soon as possible. However, there are still people on the planet who have not succumbed to the heresy and are worthy of rescue. Besides a small number of our own shuttles, we also have shuttles salvaged from the starport. Agenta, the dark eyes of Sister Battle of the Sister of Battle Flash. We must save as many as we can. This has all happened for a reason. Saint Argenta, whose name I carry with reverence and trepidation, is famed for saving people of a dying world through the power of prayer. The God Emperor himself sent a star from the heavens that lifted the saint and her followers up to the sky, away from corruption and death. We must do as she did, direct all our efforts to save those people who, at this moment, look to the heavens in hope of salvation. Pascal, the lives of peasants are of little value. Our prime objective is to save the Holy Relic, the miraculous fusion reactor, and the electro priests who guard and tend to it. Abelard furrows his brows. Every moment we spend in proximity to a dying world, we are putting ourselves at risk. Your life, Lord Captain, is far more valuable than all of Rykad Minoris. The von Valancius dynasty cannot be allowed to perish, and so lamentable though it is, we must rule out the idea of any evacuation. Heinrich's eyes, like two deep but dark pools, are resolutely fixed on you. The world is doomed, and its inhabitants along with it. The disappearance of the star was the final nudge towards death, the finale of the cult of the Final Dawn's plans. I also witnessed a similar event, a world that had surrendered to the servants of the archenemy and permitted corruption to enter too deep. At this moment, millions of people are bowing down before those who promised them salvation, and they are willingly giving over their souls to chaos, a sacrifice great enough to bring forth a demon world. Oh snap, that's bad. Our only hope of stopping this process is to retreat to a safe distance from the planet and conduct a targeted bombing of the Electro Priest's monastery. If we blow up the reactor, a thermonuclear reaction will follow. The world's oxygen will evaporate, killing off the entire biosphere. In doing this, we will save millions of souls from a fate far worse than death, and we will save Rykad Minoris from becoming an outpost of the arch-enemy. Huh. Interesting. Cabela, only death can rescue these people. The Undying One has reached out his hand to this world, and it is time for him to reap his harvest. We must not reject his design, lest millions of names never reach him, and instead perish into the depths of the Imperium. Death is a mercy. Domin Lambank YouTube. Cassia, whatever fate you choose for this world, I urge you to make haste, Lord Captain. The planet is burning in raging flashes of crimson and purple, and I can see it even from orbit. As do I see that the storm is already upon us. With every moment we waste, it grows ever more difficult and perilous to steer the ship through the warp's turbulent currents. I'm with the lady on this. Enough talking. We need to get out of... Oh, Adira. I'm with the lady on this. Enough talking. We need to get out of here while we still can. Something lurking in the depths of your consciousness bristles at the passing thought of saving people. The spike of horror you feel takes your breath away, as if you were planning to steal the prey of a mighty predator. The planet is already wrapped in a thread stretching out from the warp. It deserves to have a new master. Interesting. So the argument here is that that there's going to be... The argument here is that if the people are left, there'll be a chaos demon that spawns. So, in theory, if you can save the people, then you stop the chaos thing from being a problem. And the risk is obviously that we blow up in the process, but I reckon we just say, which of the planet's inhabitants can we evacuate? The nobles you rescued at the starport have given coordinates of shelters where we can find surviving aristocrats and their families. As for Sergeant Malgor's troops, they will help to control the crowds of frightened commoners and prevent the shuttles from being overloaded. Thanks to you, we have salvaged many shuttles from the starport that we can use now. Interesting. So why can we not try to evacuate at least some of the people? For the same reason that the transformation process will soon become irreversible and our sole weapon against it useless. The energy released by the bombardment could stoke the warp energies. I have never witnessed the aftermath of a bombing a daemon world before, but there is enough evidence to such attempts for me to say that with confidence that you do not want to see. You do not want to see it. Like on a oh dang it. In a practical, this is such a strange decision. We have to decide between the fusion reactor, which is obviously probably the most valuable thing, saving the commoners, or saving the nobles, or blowing up the planet, or just getting out of Dodge and leaving it to its own devices. This is such a hard decision. Oh my gosh, the pressure. I think there's no difference between nobles and commoners. That's one thing we need to identify. Nobles and commoners are still humans, just breathing. Everyone's breathing the same air, got the same lungs. So that's a moral issue where someone says, well, of which do you save? Do you save the nobles or the commoners? Well, both. We only get one option. We have to choose who's we're either leaving, or we're salvaging very important technology, or we're saving some people. And I think, like, how to put this? Gosh, this is so hard. Gosh, this is hard. This is actually the hardest decision in the game so far. What decision do you make? Do you save the commoners? Do you save the nobles? That's actually not even like the hardest part. Do you save the fusion reactor? Or do we just blow up and get out of here? This is like one of those the thing that's hard here is that we can't afford to lose the reactor. Like it's sort of like we don't have a choice. As strange as that sounds, like we have to get the fusion reactor. There's not really an alternative, because if we leave the fusion reactor to be exploited. If we blow it up, we lose it, and it's very important. We have to go for the fusion reactor. This is the hardest ethical decision so far, because my heart is in saving the people. But the amount of people that we don't save if we don't get the fusion reactor is so much more. So we have to save the fusion reactor. We have to. I think this is the correct decision in terms of if you truly cared. It's the hardest decision, but it's the most it is, looking past the moment, it is the most ethical decision for the for humanity. Strange as it is. Okay. I've made this decision. I'm gonna go for the fusion reactor. And my heart hurts thinking about not being able to save people. Any delay caused by loading and transporting to the ship will cost us precious time. Do not deceive yourself, Lambank YouTube. If you indulge your vanity, you will doom billions to eternal torment at the hands of the archenemy. Do not forget yourself, Interrogator. One more objection from you and I shall forget all about the need to deliver you to fall alive. Do you detect a flicker of something beneath Heinrich's sanguine mask? Whatever it may be, it does not seep into the interrogator's dispassionate voice. In that case, I consider it necessary to point out that the mark of the archenemy could infiltrate the ship with the priests escorting the reactor. Keep that in mind for the future. Consider it done. It is likely our shuttles will have capacity to evacuate some people as well. Yes! I think like, oh gosh, nobles or commoners. We need to go. It says have the pilots extract all of the commoners who have not yet converted to the cult of the Final Dawn. So basically, everyone because the nobles could have converted to the cult of the Final Dawn. We don't actually know if they have or haven't. So by getting the nobles, we are arguably guaranteeing that the cult of the Final Dawn comes with it. So by the process of elimination, have the pilots extract all of the commoners who have not yet converted to the cult of the Final Dawn. Consider it done. This will bring us to the limit of our capabilities. We will have no more shuttles to use in the evacuation effort. The bridge is an upheaval. The Technomat's prayers mixed together in a senseless cacophony. I love that just pausing for a split. I love that we get to save people. I love that we get to save people in the process of this hard. This was a difficult decision, but we got the reactor and we got to save people. It makes me very happy. The bridge is an upheaval. The Technomat's prayers mixed together in a senseless cacophony while servitors work hastily to remove a hardened crust of sacred unguents from the warp's engine components. In the middle of this tumult stands Pascal with a data slate clutched in his hands, seemingly disconnected from the flurry of activity around him. He definitely belongs on the ship, eh? What's going on here? The warp sextant is not responding to commands. The ship's spirit is rejecting our prayers in anger. I'm currently calculating a plea that might help appease this noble spirit. Crew, heed word of Magus Hanuman. Pascal, I kindly request that you take charge of this mess. Thank you, your ladyship, you are right. Pascal's voice changes when he addresses the crew. He now speaks with authority and resolve. Tech comrades, heed my instructions. Mayhem immediately subsides and the crew's actions fall into some indiscernible logic. The Omnissiah's servants start working in sync, and the Binharak clamour becomes a symphony of reports which the Magos coordinates with a skillful conductor. He's definitely staying on the ship. So he's just got to manage that ship. He's basically okay. Admirably done, Pascal. The Omnissiah guides me, says Pascal. The prayers of the tech priests surrounding the cogitator almost drown out the sounds of the bustling bridge behind you. Pascal, poring intently over the data slate in his hands, extends a mechadendrite towards you. Please take your place at the cogitator, Lord Captain. First explain what we are doing. I studied the data and discovered the machine node that was damaged as a result of the heretic's sabotage. The functioning of the warp sextant was tampered with, and the ship's spirit, aggrieved by this violation of the right of operation, is now rejecting its calculations. I sought a way to rectify this error and have concluded that your participation is necessary to do so. Sup, Elon? Yeah, I ended up saving the so I thankfully got to save the non-cult commoners as well as getting the fusion reactor. So I kind of like the decision of priorities that I had to make was lose the fusion reactor, which I don't think was an option, to be honest, or have a choice between saving nobles or commoners. But the thing is, the part that wasn't addressed was that the nobles may have been part of the cult, because it didn't say non-cult nobles. It just said non-cult commoners. So by bringing the nobles on board, you potentially give people with authority that are part of a cult the authority to make a whole bunch of chaos happen on the ship. So by choosing the non-cult commoners, you guarantee a unison of mind on the ship. So that's the logic there. And then also we've got the fusion reactor, which is basically, well, that's just something we couldn't afford to lose for the sake of humanity, basically. Okay. The cogitator systems of this temple of the Omnissiah are subordinate to the shell whose repository serves the machine we see before us. A machine created for your predecessor, and one that uses biological signatures of dynastic blood in its computations. The spirits should recognize the ship's mistress and submit to her will. Should. Pascal speaks the final words with a slight tremor in a synthesized voice. That should sounded less than reassuring. Pascal. Lord Captain, comes the crackle in Pascal's vox, part beleaguered sigh, part interference. I am still poorly acquainted with this void ship. The acolytes here have adopted their own customs for conversing with the machine spirits. They do not know me, and they express themselves in a little-known dialect of Techna Lingua. I will trust in the Omnissiah that my analysis of the data was correct. It means we have a chance of appeasing the ship's spirit. Step up to the cogitator. The huge machine in front of you is lit with dozens of vid screens and hundreds of lumens. The blinking lights and endless rush of symbols and digits on the green background make your eyes water, and a vague sense of alarm simmers in the depths of your mind, the typical reaction of a layperson when confronted with the magnitude of the Omnissiah's creation. Among the numerous controls, you see the mouth of a cyber gargoyle, the same as the gate to the warrant chamber. Pascal's voice becomes imbued with imperious force. Servants of the machine god, heed my command. Acolytes, prepare the incense instrumentation for the liturgy of machine spirit propitiation. Interesting word. Propitiation. Liturgy of machine spirit propitiation. Interesting. I've never heard that word before. Propitiation. Senior technomats recite the prayer and generate a current data report. Operations will be marked with the campanological Omnissiah rejoice. Campanological. so extremely hard words. Propitiation, it's gotten easier. Campanological protocol. Omnissiah rejoice. I must inform you that for the purposes of safety, complete reassembly of the warp sextant and updating its datasmith blessings are required. If this is not done, then at launch the volume of aggregate calculation errors could result in the destruction of the data crypts. But as we do not have 100 hours at our disposal, we must omit this procedure. Pascal looks down at the data slate in his hands, a minor deviation from the rite of operation for the sake of appeasing the spirit. Okay. What must I do? Place your hand inside the throat of the cogitator guardian, the cyber gargoyle, which has been assigned to guard the forbidden data crypts. The dynastic blood extracted from your veins will serve as a key to the data core where the machine spirit dwells. To it we will offer our prayers so that we may bypass the protective protocol for defective connections and launch the warp sextant. Okay. Place your hand in this... Oh, wait, sorry. Pascal's voice grows quieter. The laws of the Omnissiah know no exceptions, and so in this ritual I will remain at your side to placate the wrathful machine spirit in whose abode you will be intruding. Follow my liturgies, Lord Captain, and may we receive his blessing. Place your hand in the cyber gargoyle's mouth. The metal jaws clamp around your hand, breaking your delicate corporal sheath and releasing warm red liquid into its gullet. At the same moment, the image on the vid screen before you changes. Connecting. 1, 2, 3. Success. Register 7890344. Access initiated IDs 8627. Nom OS operator respect act. Okay. Gesture at the vid screen. What does this all mean? At the sound of your voice, the cogitator's servant, whose bronze-sounded skeleton is built into the cogitator's housing, shudders. With a screech, its skull rotates towards you and then stops in that position. Benevolent code, a voice receptor. Pascal emits a sequence of Binharak singles and is silent for several seconds. I hypothesize that the defect is located in the analyzer block. I register a reaction to the signal but no process response. A temporary override is permissible. The Magos intently studies the vid screen. The shell was created on a forge world unknown to me, initiating standard invocation to the machine spirit. Pascal leans over to the adjacent instrument panel and sets his hand on the controls. At the same time, a quiet stream of machine code begins pouring forth from his vox. What should I do now? Lord Captain, I now ask you to address the machine spirit. Speak the following command. By my authority, I revoke the inviolability protocol of the warp engine. The voice receptor will receive the vocal entry. Without your sanction, the machine spirit will not accept the data from the warp sexton. Okay. By my authority, I revoke the inviolability protocol of the warp engine. There you go. One of the cogitator's vid screens turns red. Pascal sees this and raises his hand, signaling to the rest of the tech priests, then withdraws a connector from his sleeve and connects to the machine. Servants of the Omnissiah, make now the offering of cleansed data crypts to the machine spirit so that it may be filled with their true, calibrated data. May the Omnissiah have mercy on our souls. And make solemnity. In make solemnity, the acolytes offer up the cleansed data crypts to the warp engine one after another, repeating prayers of exaltation. After anointing the contacts with sacred unguents, Pascal inserts them into the cogitator slots. Your head begins to spin from the holy senses, foul-smelling clouds of smoke, and from the loss of blood that the cyber gargoyle continues to drink from you, and the world swims before your eyes. Let this mechanism awaken with renewed purity. Pascal enters a sequence of commands and raises his head, watching the vivid screens. Suddenly he stops dead. No. His fingers fly over the command runes, entering command after command. His mechan dendrites clicking their pincers, pull at one lever after another. The vid screen fills with a string of symbols completely incomprehensible to you, but clearly conveying something to the Magos. I think we should say nothing and not interfere. This seems pretty, would you interfere while there's like a whole bunch of stress going on? It may disrupt him. I assume something bad's going on, but I think it would be unwise to say something. After a few seconds, one of the data crypts mounted on the cogitators begins to emit a spark. A moment later, another data crypt does the same. The next bursts into flames and gives off foul-smelling smoke. Around you, the Omnissiah's servants break off from their prayers, and someone bursts into frantic pleading. Pascal mournfully grates out, "The massive errors in the warp sextant calculations is destroying the data repositories. The offering did not appease the ship's spirit. The warp engine cannot be filled with the motive force. We are trapped." A moment later, the Magus continues uncertainly. "Perhaps an alternative Ryzen protocol or an emergency launch of the auxiliary coils. The tech priest bends over the cogitator, but something in his pose and movements reveals his desperation. While the other vid screens are filled with more and more strings of symbols, the monitor in front of you blinks and its static image changes. Pascal is too engrossed in his ritual to notice. Read the information on the vid screen. Okay, so we got stabbed, PAX, OS, stab true, initiated, perturb, disturb, operating, query. Machine spirit, can you hear me? The cogitator's servant creaks quietly in its joints, a sound that is drowned out by the Binharic hymns and the tapping of command runes. Prompt ping, injury, rescue, query. Yes, injury, rescue, query. Let's go with rescue. Yes, machine spirit, rescue us. Pascal turns to you. Lord Captain, the excess emotion in your command will render it unintelligible to... Pascal's next vocalization goes unsynthesized as he sees the vivid screamers begin to stabilize one after another. The string frenetically... strings frenetically... How do you say? Frenetically... galloping across the green background are replaced with stable images or regularly updating status reports. Only one monitor remains inexplicably red. It's very interesting words, eh? Trying to read this stuff frenetically. I've never seen that in my life. Frenetically. Okay. The tech priest's vox cackles in shock, but his report is as clipped and clinical as ever. Registering warp sextant activated. Registering data stream stabilizing. Registering 0 data errors found. Reporting. The warp engine is ready for translation. After a pause, Pascal adds, I'm also reporting evidence indicating a Category 3 miracle fulfilling the criterion thou shalt witness the mechanism that toils in glorification of its function and in defiance of deactivation. That's such a cool, weird saying. So it's a Category 3 miracle. Thou shalt witness the mechanism that toils and the glorification of its function and in defiance of deactivation. This is such a sweet... Oh no, I might print screen this. This is such a cool... Thou shalt witness the mechanism that toils and glorification of its function. So how I would translate that into like human thinking is, if you, whoever you are, do the best you can in glorification of your purpose and in defiance of deactivation. So like just doing the best you can, fulfilling your skill set, your purpose, whatever it is that you're good at, in defiance of being defeated. Like, that's such a cool saying. Holy moly. Thou shalt witness the mechanism that toils in glorification of its function and in defiance of deactivation. Pascal, that is epic, dude. The helmsman, Raver. Lord Captain, Raver here. The crew are almost finished carrying out the orders given earlier, and I've just received confirmation from the engineering halls. I don't know what you did, but the warp's engine's up and raring to go. We're ready to begin translating the warp, your ladyship. What just happened? Pascal pauses. I hypothesized that the ship's spirit heard our prayers and intervened. It summoned the power of the Omnicide to do something beyond my comprehension. It appears the Omnicide perceives and knows the power of your faith, Pascal. He would not have worked this miracle otherwise. I hope he will grant me a revelation that will allow me to comprehend the nature of this miracle. Excuse me. The Pascal's vox buzzes with wonder and an undercurrent of exultation. I know little of the Omnicide's sacred machines, but What I saw on the screen looked strange. Pascal. A non-standard output of information lost in data in the data core. The servitors used as data conduits are not always fully lobotomized. Fragments of their thoughts can appear even in pure code. Pascal falls silent, immersed in thought. Alright, so we'll contact Raver. The Lord Captain speaking. I give the order to commence translation to the warp. Master Helmsman Raver. Waiting for you to ascend the Captain's throne, Lord Captain. May the Emperor protect us all. So here we have the planet, I guess. Issues with the planet. But we've done the best we can. Save the reactor and save the people. Wish there were some grey knights around. Just go in there and tear it up.
The Von Valancia's flagship made its way out of the doomed star system. As the void ship plunged deeper into the Corona's expanse, the rogue trader's subjects bid a formal farewell to the late head of the dynasty, Theodora von Valancius. Having paid their last respects, the crew gathered their strength and braced themselves for whatever was to come next.
Voxmaster Victus. Lord Captain, allow me to report. Our journey through the warp is coming to an end. Lady Navigator Orcelio informs me that we have reached the point where we can translate to real space in the Furibunda system. The Lady Navigator and her pilots are awaiting your permission to begin the process. The Furibunda system is home to Footfall, the only Imperium outpost with a functioning wharf in the Corona's expanse. The tech priests are begging you to have mercy on the machines worn down by the warp and to allow the servants of the Omnissiah to inspect and heal the void ship's wounds in the dock. The prayers and rituals will take some time, which our astropathic choir will use to establish a connection with the prime worlds of your protectorate, Dargonus, Janus, and Kiavagama. Master Zachary Weeds has recovered an invitation previously adrift in the Immaterium. The Liege of Footfall has humbly requested an audience with the rogue trader of the Von Valancius dynasty. According to Master Zachary, the message was tinted with a shade of pleading. I quote, "Apparently the Liege is anxious to meet as soon as possible." Argenta, Footfall. The place where filth and sanctity go hand in hand. Reverend Hieronymus Doloroso will most likely expect a visit from me. I imagine he will be interested in talking to you as well. Lambank, YouTube. Heinrichs. I will be leaving your void ship when we arrive on Footfall, Lambank, YouTube. Once that is done, consider the Lord Inquisitor's task complete. Abelard. Your ladyship, young Yvain Winterscale has asked me to convey his gratitude for your hospitality and for saving him from his certain death. Not wishing to outstay his welcome, he plans to disembark at Footfall. Lord Yvain swears he will not forget his debt to you. Pascal, I hereby inform the rogue trader that during a comprehensive system inspection right, this unit discovered data clusters within the captain's cogitator that are concealed from prying eyes by means of personal cipher and a sacrament of algorithmic authorization. Unit Lambank YouTube von Valancius has been added to the access list assigned to the identifier Keeper 2. The unit can access the data from the captain's cogitator provided that she possesses the decryption key. You detect a hint of something resembling curiosity in Pascal's mechanical voice. Okay, there's a lot of stuff. Let's go with... I might just... Well, I guess we're here, aren't we? Are you leaving us, Heinrichs? The arrangement between the Lord Inquisitor and your predecessor was that I be transported to Footfall and no farther. I dare not take advantage of your generosity and patience any more than I already have, Lambank YouTube. You were a skilled fighter. I could use people like you. What do you say we extend your stay in my retinue? Thank you for the offer, but I must decline. I'm afraid that my duty to the Golden Throne comes before everything else. Argenta, who is Reverend Hieronymus and who wants to talk to me? He is the head of Drusian mission on Footfall and one of the most prominent clergymen in the sector. Paying him a visit is a good thing for any loyal servant of the Emperor to do. I assisted his mission before I joined Lady Theodora on her voyage. I need his blessing to accompany the new rogue trader of the von Valancius dynasty. If you wish to have me aboard your voyage ship, I request that we meet with Reverend Hieronymus. Cabela, the shed blood has washed away the taint from our bodies. It is only right that we now wash our souls with the blessings of the servant of the Undying One. Like the Drusians, like the blood-spun web, are devoted to asceticism, rejecting wealth and luxury and surrendering themselves to his service. Though their thread is different from ours, the first spinner spoke of them with respect. Victus, tell me about the system we are arriving in. Furibundus is valuable due to its close proximity to the Maw, the gateway of the Imperium. The system is most known for Footfall, the main base for merchants, privateers, and rogue traders traversing the Coronis Expanse. Additionally, the star itself is orbited by an Adeptus Mechanica station, which is off limits to outsiders. Pascal. Alta Templin Calixus EXT-17. I had the honor of tending to this shrine for a few thousand cycles. I suggest you abstain from visiting it, as most tech comrades at the station are engaged in meditative calculations that should not be interrupted. What do I need to know about Footfall? It is the largest port and the trading capital of the Coronis Expanse. It is a dockyard that will allow us to inspect and repair the Void Ship, and it boasts its own astropathic choir, the Coronis Expanse Communications Nexus. Abelard. Not to mention the pirate hideouts, smuggler caches, and forts belonging to a dozen gangs, groups, and factions. In the Coronis Expanse, the Imperium relies on this as its outpost. The fringes of humanity's domain rarely resemble its central worlds. But so long as Footfall serves the God Emperor, and so far as it can, it will be considered a citadel of the Imperium, although I have heard that the tithes it sends are underwhelming to say the least. Voxmaster Victus. Due to Footfall's remoteness, it has developed its own rules and customs. Many of the goods that can be procured there would be considered heresy in the heart of the Imperium, enough to warrant summary execution. Moreover, Footfall is the domain of the rogue traders, who transcend certain imperial laws by virtue of the warrant they bear. Footfall is just a brief stop. What next? As soon as we solve the issues plaguing the ship and establish contact with the key worlds of your protectorate, the time will come for your Magnae Accessio, the official ceremony of the donning of the mantle of the rogue trader. It is mostly a formality at this point. You already possess all the privileges granted by the warrant, and yet it is a major milestone in your personal history, the moment your name graces the list of the heads of the von Valancius dynasty. We are looking forward to that day, Lord Captain. Abelard. Do you know anything about the Liege of Footfall? Vladame Torkara is a very peculiar young man. Consider your upcoming conversation a baptism in the fire of Footfall's political arena. Such things are not spoken out loud, but Liege Torkara is the appointee of Casbilica Mission, the largest robber baron crime syndicate in the Calixis sector. They specialize in the cold trade, the buying and selling of all kinds of Xenos rubbish. Footfall was previously run by a liege who did business with several criminal factions at once, but he suffered an accident. The reins of power were picked up by Vladame Torkara, whose appointment benefits not only the Casbilica, but also their most powerful ally with the Coronis Expanse, the rogue trader Caligos Winterscale. Vladame is a slippery yet very cautious fellow. He does not usually beat around the bush and does not play mind games. Perhaps more importantly, he is no fool. Fools do not rise this high in the Casbelican hierarchy. Keep this all in mind. You are a rogue trader. You stand above him in status and wield considerable power. Having said that, history has seen cases where the Casbelican barons crossed swords with rogue traders and emerged victorious. Do not forget that and remain vigilant. The Casbelica vile tech thieves. Pascal's voice barks out the last word like profanity. Okay. Why does the Liege want to see me so badly? Not you personally. He wishes to meet with the rogue trader of the Von Valancius dynasty. Torkara does not know about the Lady Theodora's death and is simply seeking an audience with the powers that be. My gut is telling me that something must be very wrong in Footfall if our astropath managed to read such a strong emotion from an anodyne message. Victus. We have no information, Lord Captain. The broadcast from the Footfall Astropathic Choir was the only missive Master Zachary has received lately. Alright. Tell the Lady Navigator that I give her leave to make the translation from the warp into real space. That was some hectic dialogue. Okay, Victus begins issuing instructions. The massive ship appears to change with her every word. The bridge is set in motion as hundreds of people start to prepare for the shift into real space, and measured chanting fills the corridors to safeguard the vessel and its crew. Victus turns to you again. One more thing, Lord Captain. No one at the station knows about Lady Theodora's demise, and you inheriting the title. Liege Torkara will be informed. It is required so we can use the dock. And besides, he is expecting a personal audience with the rogue trader. He will not meet an unknown person of unclear standing. However, there is still the matter of announcing your arrival. You can either arrive on the station with the proper pomp and ceremony, or choose to visit it incognito. I think... Tell me in detail how these choices will benefit me. According to Footfall's unwritten laws, rogue traders enjoy special privileges that exceed even the power of the Liege. However, they may choose not to exercise those privileges in certain situations. Arriving incognito will give you more room to maneuver, while an official visit will allow you to directly intervene in local affairs. When your enemy is strong, you go around. If you don't know what to expect, you go incognito. If you've never ever been a rogue trader before, and you've never ever done anything a rogue trader does, you should go incognito, I believe. I shall explain if you do not mind. As per this unwritten rule, every rogue trader arriving at the station has the right to veto any of the Liege's decisions. But there is a catch. The Coronis Expanse is home to several influential rogue trader dynasties, and Footfall is where their interests intersect. Yes, so it's a very political place. Of course, that does not prevent certain persons, namely Caligos Winterscale, from subtly pulling the strings on Footfall. If you, as a new rogue trader, start your career with an official landing and parade in your honor, the other dynasties may see this gesture as the newcomer challenging their spheres of influence. I do not see that as a bad thing necessarily. Old man Winterscale may take a slight offense. quarter will be put on her guard, but you have just risen to the prominence, and most people in the Coronis Expanse have not even heard about Lady Theodora's departure yet. It must be made clear to the banner of It must be made clear that the banner of Von Valancius soars as high as ever. It must be made clear that the banner of Von Valancius soars as high as ever. So it's wow. So I need to. Okay, Heinrich. If I may, I would recommend arriving incognito. You have plenty of opportunities to savor the sweetness and the burdens of power, but right now it is the last time you can take refuge in obscurity. This way your arrival will not draw as much attention, and people will treat you as a person and not the almighty sovereign anointed by the Emperor. It could turn some situations to your advantage. I've decided, tell the Liege, I will arrive incognito. It will be done, Lord Captain. Victus bows again. With your gracious permission, I will return to my duties. I'd just like to say, and just to accentuate, that the reason for incognito is you've read plenty of times about in military strategy, I'm sure, that if you're ambushed, you're at a disadvantage. So by going incognito, you counter the possibility of being ambushed basically, caught in an attack of opportunity, shall we say. And instead you get to see what's going on, make your own decisions and think for yourself, which is important in this life, to think for yourself and make your own decisions. Alright. Where are we at? So that was so because I have to do there's a couple of things I need to think about here. So if we just before we consider wrapping up, if we go to the Furibunda system, there may be some more dialogue. Okay, here we go. Lord Captain, Raver's voice over the Vox sounds weary, rather annoyed. I'm getting reports of several ships moving towards us. Judging by the fact that they're not responding to our hails and the telemetry shows a trail of macro batteries, they're not here for a chinwag. Ready to issue orders and prepare for battle at your command. Where did they come from? Why haven't you noticed them before? This could be the work of Conrad Voigtova. Can we evade this combat? On my orders, all stations get ready for combat. Okay, let's do that. On my orders, all stations get ready for combat. This is pretty cool. I like this. Space warfare. No idea what to expect with this. Oh, this is so sick. Oh my gosh, this is so sick. Oh my gosh, this is so sick. This is space. Oh man, Rogue Trader just got so cool. Oh man, this is so epic. You've engaged the enemy in space combat. Battles in space on the surface of the planets work quite differently to the ones in another. Okay, in space combat, the battlefield is separated into 3 zones marked by acceleration, mid-movement, end movement. Ships traverse at high speeds even during combat, which is why both your ships and those of your enemies can move at certain distance each round. You can only end your turn once your ship has traversed this minimum required distance. Okay, cool. So left click to go to a cell. Yeah, very normal. Okay, this is just so sick. Okay, so can we just so this is Void Ship Ram. We want to go. I want to do that. I want to just ram. Like, can we go here? Yeah, so we got some weapons. Yeah, I want to try and ram. Yeah, this is sick. Oh, that's so cool. Oh my gosh, what the heck, dude? Short range dorsal macro cannons. Straight delete. Some ships are protected by shields. To deal damage to an enemy, you must first pierce their shields. Well, we definitely did that by ramming them. Okay, yep. Shields recover each round. The Rogue Trader's flagship is likewise protected by shields. Yep. The Flagship's damage shields do not recover at the start of the next turn. Instead, they can be... Oh, what was that? They can be... we got to restart the shields to regenerate shields. So we can't do any port side. This is honestly so sick. This is epic. Oh, that's a lot of damage. We got 139 health. We've just taken like... Okay. So we gotta... We can't seem to move. So how does this work? How do you do a... Here we go, maybe this. Swing run. The flagship flies in a straight line, making a full U-turn at the end of its movement. Let's try that. So does it U-turn? Does it turn around? Oh, look at that. Look at that. And now... So we got a massive laser beam looking thing. Oh, this is a restart shields. So, but we're actually in range to do this. Oh, that's so cool. Oh, I'm such a nerd. Okay, the ship must reach one of the end phase cells to return. Okay, yeah, cool. We'll go there. This is like the coolest thing. Honestly, I can't even deal with this. How cool this is. You kidding me, bro? It's actually quite a lot of damage that they're doing. So we'll go port cannons just to see what happens. Oh, deleted. Battle is over. Trophies. Ancient machinery. So scrap heals your hull integrity. That was actually so much fun. Oh my gosh. I could do that all day. Okay, so I think because I have to go and like really analyze the heck out of what our characters can like, I need to look at the class upgrades and that before I progress with any more of the story, just in case. I'll probably call this the end of the stream. This has been a pretty nice progression. Not really sure what the heck to expect next. And I think in a lot of ways I am committed to seeing this through to the completion of the game. I hope that it's enjoyable. I hope that you're enjoying the series, and I wish all the love to your community and your families and yourselves. And I will do some thinking about what the heck to do next. And I wish you all the blessings. And until the next